when something seems too perfect, people, they don't believe in it.
But when you don't want to watch the news about fake assassination attempts or what they're calling an assassination attempt.
Adam, did you ever think we'd see something like that? These are assassination attempt deniers, denying that what happened Saturday really happened.
Yeah. Well, both these women are insane, so you have to factor that in.
True.
It's funny because we had countless hours of footage of Joe Biden looking out of it and addled and stumbling around, and those same people called them cheap fakes. But those same people are watching footage of assassinations and not believing it are the same people who denied footage of Joe Biden with severe dementia and saying that somehow that video had been doctored. And it was funny. I had someone in my studio and they said, well, that you're looking at little snippets of Biden. You're just looking at a minute or 30 seconds. That's not the whole context. I go, I can watch 30 seconds of a guy falling down staircases and know what's going on. He said, yeah, but it's cut out. You know what I said? I said, the footage of P. Diddy kicking that woman at the hotel by the elevator, that's surveillance footage. We only saw 1 minute of it.
Great point.
There's hours and hours of nothing going on in that hallway,
right,
but then we cut out the 1 minute, but it doesn't mean P. Diddy didn't kick the person by the elevator, you idiots.
And I don't know what happened before, and I don't know what happened after, but I did see the 10 seconds of that video. It gives me a pretty good idea of how things were going.
Yes.
I want to ask you about Jimmy Kimmel, just because you know him so well. I know you guys are close. You worked together famously 25 years ago. I thought you made an interesting point on your own show. Basically, if Kimmel made the Melania joke and nothing happened on Saturday night, people probably would not be so upset. Do I have that right?
Yes. Well, I know they wouldn't be that upset because he made it, I think, on Thursday.
Right.
And no one said anything on Friday.
Or Saturday.
Or Saturday. I thought the event was Saturday.
Yeah, the event was Saturday night. So nobody said anything really until
yes,
Sunday.
2 full days had passed before they said it.
Does it change anything that there have already been 2 attempts on the president's life?
Yeah, I do. I do think that's a factor. And I think it's an issue the same way it is with James Comey, which is like what he did is not really technically illegal, but in the climate and the knowledge of knowing that there've already been assassination attempts on this person you're saying it to and about, then yes, I think it changes the context of it. It doesn't make it more or less legal or illegal, but yes, I would factor that in.
Good point. Have you spoken with Jimmy since this? You know, I know you guys are on opposite ends of the spectrum politically, but you're friends. Have you talked to him since Saturday?
Yeah, I did. I corresponded with him yesterday. It was just something, it was stupid because a lot of our interactions are kind of comical interactions because that's how we met as comedians. He sent me a text yesterday with an article, I guess, somewhere of me sort of defending him, and he just went, thanks, brother. You know, thanks for having my back. Comically, a week earlier, when I was in Arizona, he hooked me up with a pizza guy who made me a delicious gourmet pizza for free. And so I just wrote back, you got me a free pizza less than 10 days ago, and I don't forget that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a joke, and he just laughed.
And that's the dynamic.
That's kind of how we correspond. Yeah.
I've only got 15 seconds, but do you think ABC or Disney is going to do anything?
They may. It all comes down to money and pressure and sponsorship and stuff like that. You know, whether it's Kimmel or Colbert, these are kind of stances we're taking. Everyone is rich. Everyone's fine. You know, we're not really talking about real problems. These are first world problems. You know, Kimmel could get fired tomorrow and he'd just go to Netflix and do a whole bunch of other projects. So it becomes a pride-based thing, and it becomes a stand, and it becomes a sort of argument about free speech, but it's not a real problem.
Adam Carolla, you're a good man. I appreciate you being here. Hope you'll come back. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.